Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. So on this video, I'm basically gonna go over the step-by-step process on how to make your first 100k 6 figure revenue in a month. Going step by step on exactly how to do it, the process that it takes to achieve this goal, the capital spend, and basically everything in between. All right. So, and this is real step-by-step stuff, not no fancy buy my course and I'll show you how to do it bullshit or whatever. This is actually step-by-step. So if you watch every single step and just follow as I, explain through it, you should hit your 6 figures doing this. And hopefully a lot of you do, because I know for a lot of you it's the goal. And so, yeah, let's get to it. Stop wasting time and just get straight to the facts. So the number one thing that without a doubt you're gonna need to achieve this, because without this you're not gonna see this anytime soon, maybe down the road, but not anytime soon for sure. And that's the capital, right? You're gonna need the capital to achieve these high numbers, because to make 6 figures in 1 month revenue is a big achievement. And without the proper capital you're not going to see it. So you'll need to be spending about anywhere from 40 to 60k to basically achieve this type of numbers. Now of course you'll have to basically spend that number either in the beginning of the month, assuming you can send your shipments in pretty fast, or midway through the previous month, assuming that check-in times take a while, 2 weeks max, and then they'll hit for the next month. But you will need the capital. Without the capital, there's just no way you're gonna see these numbers, all right? And that's kind of the thing I hate the most about social media gurus, influencers, all that stuff, is that they never tell you this exact step from the beginning. They hype you up with, oh, you gotta do this, find a winning product, blah blah blah, which, yeah, it's true, but they never get to you. They never speak the facts about that you're gonna need the capital. Like, no offense, anybody can do this, but there's just no way that someone with $1,000, with capital is gonna see 100k in like 2 months. I mean, that's just gonna be physically impossible to achieve, because you got to think about check-in times, your payouts, just everything else in between. Like, there's no way you're gonna see those numbers. But if you have the capital, or you've been in the business for a minute and you finally have the capital to spend on such high inventory, then you should be able to see these numbers, all right? Credit cards can help, lines of credit, business loans, whatever can get you the most capital. The faster you can get it and the more you can spend, the faster you will see those 6 figures. But without the capital, you're just not going to see 6 figures in a month whatsoever, all right? And that's just the truth. That's not to discourage anybody, but that's just the truth. Like I said, your spending does lead to what you're going to do in revenue for the next month. So yeah, keep that in mind, all right? Now let's get to step 2. And this is assuming you have the capital. You're like, all right, I got the 40 to 60k to spend on inventory. What's the next step? So the next step is, well, basically finding the actual inventory to spend, right? And so at this point, at this level, you already have some knowledge. You've already spent on a few products. You've tested products. You sent shipments in. So at this point in the game, with such high capital and volume, you basically want to go deeper on your ASINs and wider as well. In the beginning we always tell people go wider, not deep. But as you start scaling, you need more volume. So this is where you start going deeper and wider at the same time. Maybe your test buys back then were 5 to 10 units. Now you're gonna have to double that amount, or even triple, quadruple. Assuming your skills are very good at reading keeper charts and whatnot, you may be able to go even deeper. Me personally, I've gone deeper on new ASINs that I've never tested before, but because I know what to read, I know the data on how to read those charts, I'm able to be like, all right, you know what? Let me try, 400, 500, 1,000, even 2,000 before. So you need to be able to, basically have that confidence and just being able to spend more, basically buy your inventory much faster. Because the faster that you can spend your inventory and turn over your inventory, you're basically gonna speed up that process of hitting those high figure numbers. So make sure you're confident, make sure you're going deeper and wider, but also know what you're doing. Don't just buy the most randomest crap out there either, right? Now let's get to step 3, and this part is very important, and it comes to outsourcing a lot of parts in your business. Listen, in the beginning, it's normal to do everything yourself, right? Basically do your own accounting, do your own shipping, prepping your own products, repricing, all that stuff in the beginning. Well, to get, to higher numbers, as you start scaling more and more, you need to be outsourcing more and more as well. Because, as you start outsourcing, you need to dedicate whatever's not making you as much money as far as time wise and outsource it to someone else. All right. So like, let's, prepping. Prepping is not going to make you your money whatsoever, right? Sourcing is. So prepping, you need to outsource it, whether it's through a prep center or hiring employees or whatever. You need to outsource that aspect first. Then the next part, after that, outsourcing everything else is really up to you. Your repricing, definitely get a repricer. You want that outsourced as well. There's no way you're gonna spend tons of hours every single day repricing stuff when you could be spending those hours sourcing. Now, another few things you need to outsource: admin stuff, right? Getting rid of negative reviews, requesting reviews, checking for lost inventory, reimbursements, all that stuff. You need that outsourced as well. So basically, you just want to outsource as much as possible in the business that's not making you the most money, okay? And even once you outsource most of that, the last part you definitely want to start outsourcing is sourcing itself, right? Helping you find products. Because even you as the owner, the main boss, whatever you want to call yourself, there's only so much time that you have in the day to source for more and more products. So this is where having, virtual assistants come in and help you source more products will come into play. Because if you can have one extra person, now you're doubling your output, right? You're doubling how many products you can find. If you get a third, person on your team, now there's three of you. You're tripling what you guys can find, tripling what you guys can buy, tripling what you guys can spend, source, send, whatever, and sell. So having more people helping you out at scale will speed up this process much faster. And again, this all comes down to capital too, right? Because you need money to pay for those virtual assistants. So make sure you have the capital to pay your employees and make sure you have the capital to spend on that inventory. But once you start outsourcing and you start really focusing your time on what's making you the most money, you will achieve those six-figure numbers pretty fast, all right? And this is all the steps that I took in my journey experience, and that's how I started hitting these numbers back to back. Because this is at the timing of, April? This is my second month in a row already hitting six-figure months. So believe me when I say that I know what I'm kind of talking about. So yeah, just take into consideration that you're gonna need to outsource as much as possible. That I know of, there's only one person that I know who's hit those high numbers without outsourcing. But at the same time, I can imagine how much work this person is putting in. So do keep that in mind, all right? So just know that if you plan on doing everything yourself, you're gonna be spending a lot of time. And I don't know, it could just be too much overwhelming if you can't handle it. But yeah, that's the next step though. Now, the last final step that you'll need to basically, scale up to this number is having systems in place, all right? And what I mean by this is like, stay on the top of your numbers, right? Staying organized, having those Google Sheets well documented. When you buy something, document it. When it's shipped, document it. When it's received, just all that step-by-step stuff. It needs to be documented. It needs to be organized. Even for your employees, have certain systems in place. Have videos ready to be trained to them. Have everything just running smoothly. Have someone running, this aspect of the business. Have someone else running this aspect of the business. And, once you have everything pretty organized, you know who's running what. You're basically going to be scaling even more because, again, it comes down to just outsourcing all that extra time out to someone else and focusing on sourcing. So you definitely get those systems in place because you don't want to run a business at scale with so much, baggage in there, so much that, it's just really not pretty having to be unorganized and not knowing what's going on in the business, all right? Even with your banking accounts and stuff, right? Make sure you have those set up right. Make sure you're seeing your numbers, your money, your revenue coming in and out. Know what's going where. Know what money is going to your profits, what's going into more inventory, what's going into paying off your credit cards. Know all those numbers up front and know them pretty down in detail, okay? Because otherwise it can get really messy. And even if you achieve a six-figure month, you might not see the profits to match that six figures, right? So yeah, because if you hit a six-figure month and you see like 3K profit, that's not gonna make sense whatsoever, right? So yeah, you definitely want to just stay organized, stay on top of your, basically your entire business, right? Which is something we should be doing from the beginning. But let's be honest, a lot of us don't, and which is normal. I mean, you just want to grow, scale. You don't really think about the little things, but as you grow and scale, these things matter big time, all right? Because Big business also means big mistakes if you're not very careful. So do please keep that in mind if you're trying to achieve these 6-figure months. Now, on a final note, let me just say, when it comes down to it, 6-figure months, they're cool, right? Seeing those big numbers, the 100K or 200K, 300K, whatever. Which, I mean, if you haven't hit your first 100K, that's why you're watching this. But let me just say, at the end of the day, what does matter is going to be your profits no matter what. So you could do 50K and you could still probably even hit more than someone who's hitting 6 figures, right? So just keep that in mind, right? Always concentrate on your profits, because at the end of the day, that's what's gonna matter the most. That's what's gonna pay your bills. That's what's gonna pay your employees. That's what's gonna pay your credit cards and everything else in between. So don't be fooled by just revenue numbers at all. Make sure you're taking care of your profits at the end of the day, because that's the only thing that even matters, man. I don't need to repeat myself multiple times saying this, but it's just true, right? Because I mean, I get it, right? 6 figures, it looks fancy, it looks flashy. You post it on IG, you get all the likes, the comments, blah blah blah. But if you're drowning in debt and stuff, they don't matter. So just do keep that in mind, that your profits, that's what matters most, right, man? So don't be fooled. Don't try to stress yourself out by trying to do all this extra stuff just to achieve those numbers. Take your time, work on your business, and make sure you have everything functioning correctly. But with that being said, I won't waste any more of your time. Like I said, hopefully you watch to the very end, because if you did and you pay attention to every detail, you should be able to achieve your first 6-figure months. Hopefully soon. Like I said, it all comes down to your capital. So if you have the capital, yeah, you'll definitely hit it. And if you don't yet, well, you need to be out there grinding, busting your ass out, and really just trying to get that capital up to see those numbers. But all in due time for everybody. And anyways, I'm out. I hope you enjoyed.